So there's something in your quarterback compass that you possess. You knew that this dude was going to be better than Josh Rosen, and you made the right
Yeah.
decision. Brian Daboll, I mean, the work he did day in and day out with Josh Allen is legendary around here, and their relationship was special off the field as well. I mean, there's players on those Bills teams that still think they kept the wrong coach and that the Bills would have
Yeah.
multiple Super Bowls if they kept those two together. So
Right.
the person you tell me, Tiki, like the personalities of Brian Daboll and Daniel Jones, it seems like oil and water. They seem so
Yeah.
different. And so if you hired Shane because of that ability to find a quarterback, if you hired Daboll because of his ability to develop the quarterback, I just the Giants owed it to themselves this offseason to identify, draft, and develop their own guy, their own quarterback. Do you see the personalities aligning now
Yeah.
between
Well,
coach and quarterback?
yeah. So it is. So this is interesting. Because I've thought about this a lot. So I did a Buffalo game when Dave was the coordinator, and I remember asking him about all these like how did this come about? Like how did you make Josh into this player? And they really bonded football wise, but they bonded off field, and they had this like real kind of personal relationship that allowed Dave's to be very aggressive with him. Now they had a yin yang dynamic between offensive coordinator and quarterback coach. Remember, Ken Dorsey was their
Right.
quarterback coach. Now, Ken Dorsey is like savant, do this, your footwork, you got to do blah, 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 like the particulars of everything. And so you need that for a young quarterback, obviously, because you're screwed up coming out of college unless you have a great quarterback coach in college. And so what I think worked in Buffalo was that Dave's was this, I'm going to scream and yell at you and be aggressive with you and push you and get you to focus on doing these everything right. Whereas Ken Dorsey was like, all right, why did you make this misstep? Right, your back step didn't hit. Right, your release was wrong. Like all that up, like this the little detail with this passion that Dave's brings.
Hmm.
So you come forward to when he comes to the New York Giants, and you don't really have that dynamic. Mainly because um, uh, Daniel Jones doesn't have that. I can accept you screaming and yelling at me and
Right.
be motivated by it. It's more like it's more like it felt like he was going into a shell sometimes instead of, all right, damn it, I hear you. I like, shut up,
Right.
get out my
Right.
face. And I think Dave's likes
Yeah.
being challenged back. It just feels
Yeah.
like the personality that he has. I mean, I haven't spent tons of time with him, but just in the getting to know him over these last 3 years, it's like he wants to be challenged. Like he wants to be have a tit for tat sometimes, and it takes a certain kind of quarterback to accept that. Now, you know who feels exactly like that? Jaxson Dart. Like he feels like that quarterback who you can coach hard and then is going to give it back to you, and but learn from it and not take it personal, not get his feelings hurt because I mean we're not talking life and death. We're not trying to
Yeah.
figure out the Palestinian conflict in Gaza right now,
Right.
but
It's football.
right, we're talking football, and it's there is an aggressiveness that is necessary in order to be great at it. And if you're not challenged, you're never, ever, ever going to learn that. And I think one of the things that I believe makes Dave's great at what he does is that he's going to challenge you. And so you have to have the right personality in order to accept that, learn from it, and grow from it, and not get paralyzed by it. And I feel like the quarterback room with the Giants is that right now. Because Jameis, I mean, he's had his ups and downs, but I mean, Bruce Arians coached him. I know Bruce very well, and I know how Bruce coached him, right? Russell Wilson, I mean, he's a vet. He can take it, whatever. He can take it. And Jaxson Dart seems like he's in a good spot behind those guys to just absorb and learn and in a really organic way.
Man, you just nailed it, Tiki. That is all so true and such a good point. You probably heard some of the same stuff on Daniel Jones that I did, where okay, he even after he signed that huge contract, and
Yeah,
so many people are saying they paid him so much money. I had heard in the locker room, he's even telling some people, it's really just a 2-year deal. He was kind of
yeah,
poo-pooing his own deal.
right,
And
right.
then I talked to him at training camp last year about the hard knock stuff, and he wasn't that happy that they were flirting with these other quarterbacks. He didn't go the route of F you, I'm proving you wrong, I'm having
Right.
the season of my life. He kind of did go into that shell,
Right. By
and
the way,
maybe
that
that was
happens
a
to everybody.
miscalculation.
That happens to everybody. That happens to everybody. When I, the Giants drafted Ron Dane when I was there. He's a Heisman Trophy
Ran for
greatest
more
running
yards
back
than
in college.
anybody in college
Right.
football history
Right. And
at that
never, no
time.
one's ever going to break it because they don't stay in college long enough anymore. But they drafted him and it was like, all right, Teak, what are you going to do? Right. Like, all right, come on, let's go. And and it motivated me. And I think that was a telling sign for Dabes and Chain for Daniel Jones. Now, there is really if God, it's I can't. There's not one mistake because you could look at the Evan Neal draft, you can look at some of these other things, but if there was one thing that I think Joe Shane would take back, it would be giving Daniel Jones that contract extension.